Great day, everyone. Jerisha Hawk here, and I am super excited to be chatting with you today, per usual. We are potentially going to be snatching some edges, so as you are watching and tuning in, just fair warning, bit of caution, hold tight, because we're going to be going on for a little bit of a ride. But today we're going to be talking about, are you a hope hustler? And we're going to talk about what that is. Hey, Jordan, as you guys are popping on live or catching this in the replay, feel free to pop in the comments and just let me know, where are you guys at right now? Where are you guys watching from? Because I'm always curious to know where everybody is at. But let me know, where are you watching from? And I'm going to get this shared out super quickly so everybody can join in. But today we're going to be talking about whether or not you are a hope hustler. And this is something, it's an epidemic that I think has overcome and is taking over a lot of us right now in the industry. And I really want us to have an intentional, frank, honest conversation talking about how we can really transition from being hope hustlers out here to, being more intentional business owners. And it's quite all right if you are in the hope hustler boat, because I think we all have been there at one point or another, so no shade. But we're going to talk about what you need to be doing and just, one, how to identify if you are in the hope hustling boat, and really what you need to be doing to transition out of that, okay? Jordan's like, I'm in my bed. Girl, I'm not mad at it. So, but really, one thing that I've noticed, and let me know if you guys can relate to this, is if you are at a point or in your business, or maybe you've been at a point in your business where you were building your business just on the strength of hope. You were out here trying every single marketing tactic that came up on your news feed. You were the one downloading every freebie, every opt-in, registering for every webinar, just hoping and praying that something would work. You really had no clear process or no real clear strategy in regards to why you were doing what you're doing. But somebody would come out with how to create amazing webinars. It's like, oh, I need to go do that. Let me sign up. Somebody created something on how to be better at Pinterest and how to increase your profit using Pinterest. You go up and you sign up for that. Somebody's out here telling you need to be using Facebook ads and doing them diligently, and you go sign up for that. And you're out here just implementing all of these different things all at the same time, trying to create the opt-ins, trying to figure out funnels when you have no idea even what a funnel is. You don't know what you're even funneling to. You don't even know, you need to be in front of more people and be better at marketing, but you don't even know exactly what you're marketing or what you're trying to sell. And really, you're out here just hustling and bustling, like doing all the things in the hustle mode and just hoping that one of them just sticks. And just let me know, no shade at all, just if you can relate to this, if you've been in this position. I know this was me for like the first 7 months in my business. I can remember when I was out here hoping and hustling, just praying that like something would stick. Like I really didn't even have a clear understanding of even what I was selling, or maybe I knew what I was selling, but I didn't have confidence in how I was communicating it. And I'm just like, I'm hoping that somebody buys. I'm hoping that somebody decides to watch this Facebook Live. I'm hoping that somebody will actually go to my sales page and check out and pay me. I'm just hoping that it will happen, not really understanding or having a clear process that is predictable, that I know will actually generate income for me and actually bring me profit. So not sure if anybody here can relate to any of that. And if you can, just pop in the comments and let us know. Again, this is a safe space. And it's quite all right if your edges do get snatched today. But I just know that I've also been there too. That was me for the first chunk of my business, out here just hoping and praying that I would just make some money, hoping and praying that a client would come by and see a post, hoping and praying that my responses in Facebook groups would actually convert to something, but no real idea of what was going to happen after that tactic. I'm seeing everybody else out here making workshops. I'm like, let me go do that. Then I see people out here making a course. Let me go do that. I see people having successful membership groups. I'm just out here doing everything, again, hustling, with no clear process, no clear strategy, and just hoping that one of those things will work. And it's kind of like when you're making spaghetti. I'm not sure if you guys do this, but I did this a lot when I was a kid. How do you know if the spaghetti's done? You just take it out of the pot and you throw it against the wall and you hope it sticks. Because if the spaghetti does stick on the wall, you would know it's done. How many of you guys are just doing that in your business? Where you're just cooking on your business, doing all the things, just throwing things out there, hoping that something sticks with no clear reason or like rhyme or reason behind why you're doing what you're doing. No intentional strategy or like proven process. You're just out here trying all the things. And honestly, if you're a hope hustler, it can lead to burnout and frustration extremely, extremely quickly. Why? Because you're running full speed, but you're like running in a circle. You're running full speed, not actually getting closer to your destination. But as you're like out here hoping and hustling and trying all the things, you're literally draining and burning yourself out to the point where you're like lack of energy, lack of focus, to the point where you're like, screw it. Or have you been in the position where it's like somebody teaches you a process? Maybe you got done hoping and hustling and like, you know what, let me go hire somebody. And you try one element, you try their strategy or look at their strategy, but you don't get the result you want as fast as you want it. Or one part of the strategy that you try out doesn't work, or doesn't work at the way that you want to or as fast as you want to. So you say none of it works at all and you give up on the entire process. Or I've been trying this for 3 weeks and I didn't get the results. I've been in the program for a month, even though I haven't been showing up and actually full 100% committed, and I'm not getting the results. It must not work. It must be BS. I need this, I need that. When just because one element of a process doesn't work, it doesn't mean the whole process has failed. It just means you need to get better at perfecting that one area. And sometimes we give up too soon, too quick, too fast. Out here again, hoping and hustling, just saying this must not work, it must not be for me. So I want to talk about what are some things that you can really think about, whether or not are you in the hope category hustling, or are you operating off of a process that actually is set up to bring you profit? Are you out here hoping and hustling, or operating from a strategy that is designed to get you sales, and are you following that? And I want to go through some questions that you guys need to be asking yourself. When I'm asking these questions, like maybe pull out a pen or paper. Maybe if you just have your phone out, like you can just type it in the comments as we're going. But as I ask you guys questions, let me know, are you hoping or do you have a process? And this, again, there is no shade in going through this and being honest and real with yourself, because when you do answer these questions, we're going to go through a series of them. If you identify, Jay, I've just been hoping in this area, that gives you clear insight on where you need to be really focused on enhancing your skills. So if the first question we're going to talk about is how do you validate your offer? And if that question, have you validated your offer? Or are you just hoping that your offer is good enough and you're just running with it? Or have you done anything to actually validate that your offer is one that's proven that there's a market for it, that people are out there willing to pay for it? And let me know with that question. Be real with yourself, or pop in the comments and let's talk about it. Are you hoping? Have you been hoping in that regard? Or have you actually put in place a process and you know that there is a strategy behind the offer that you're out there has been validated? Tania said, finally admitted I need a process last month. I think that anything that you do, you need a process. Even if you're cooking a meal, what do you guys normally cook a meal off of? A recipe. That is a process. You may follow that process and you may not like the outcome, the food might not taste good, but there is a process. And just because that one recipe doesn't taste good, it doesn't mean that the whole dish is terrible. It means that maybe I need to go try somebody else's process. I need to go try somebody else's recipe. Rather than just saying scratch it, I hate that meal just because the one time I cooked it and the one time I followed the recipe, it sucked. We normally have to cook something over and over and over again to perfect the taste and the taste of the meal. So one, have you validated your offer? Are you hoping, or do you have a process? Have you tested it? Oh, Tanya, thank you. Are you hoping, or do you have a strategy? Or have you tested the strategy? Do you have a process? The second one is how to specialize and create a signature service. So one thing I think for all of us, when we are started out in business, most of us have huge hearts. We have these big missions. We want to create impact, change the world, leave it better than we found it. We want to really help the lives of others that cross our path in regards to clients. But normally we run into the boat where we're trying to solve every problem up under the sun, and we haven't actually established ourselves as an authority by specializing in one specific area. So if you are out here selling something, hoping that it sticks, it's probably because you haven't actually specialized and created a signature offer, created a very clear offer that communicates to who you're selling to, who it is for, but also helping people make the decision very quickly whether or not this is for them or not for them. So that's something else you guys need to think through, is the offer that you're selling right now. Are you just hoping that it sells, or have you put forth a process and a strategy to actually make sure that it is specialized enough, niched enough, so you can, one, it helps you stand out as an authority figure and helps you actually communicate and draw in the right type of people. Are you hoping, or is there a process or strategy in place? From there, like how to actually package, construct, and position your offer. And this is one that I think a lot of people run into the trouble of. They get stuck at, how do I package this? How do I put this together? How do I actually position it when I go out in the marketplace, in the sense of, if there's 1 million people selling a course on Facebook ads, how do I position mine to make it uniquely different than everybody else doing what I'm doing? That's really all positioning is. We all can be selling the exact same thing, but they're all positioned in a different way. Like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they all sell burgers, they all sell fries, but they all have a unique position. They all package their product, constructed it in a way and positioned it in a way. They have a process that's uniquely theirs that allows them to position themselves differently than all the other fast food chains. So for you, are you just hoping that you have the right process? Really, again, no clear understanding of what it really is and how, in regards to how you're packaging and positioning your offer? Or do you have a process in place? Do you have a strategy backing up what your package and what your positioning is? And again, the more honest you can be with yourself in this, it's giving you insight on where your gaps are, which will lead you directly, if you know where your gaps are, this is going to lead you to what your next best step should be, so you can go fill those gaps and get what you need to connect the dots. So that's a huge, huge thing. But most people struggle with packaging and positioning because they have not specialized in the first place. Like if you don't even know what the outcome is and the result that you're helping clients get, it's going to be extremely difficult to create a process to a result that you're foggy and unclear about, that you're just kind of hoping is good enough to go out there and sell, and hoping that it's good enough for people to buy. And another thing I want to interject here is understanding, for most of us in this space, you are not, like, you have to understand the maturity of the audience in which you're selling to. Like, people now are not dumb, you know? Like, most of us are on, well, you guys are all on Facebook. You guys are all bombarded with ads on a daily basis. You guys are all bombarded with marketing and sales tactics consistently. So selling fluff and selling this hope in a jar of a hustle of what your business is just not going to work anymore. Or it may work, but it's going to give you significantly lower results in regards to your conversion rates and how you're generating income, because your customer isn't stupid. You know, like the consumer is a lot more sophisticated and a lot more mature when it comes to online digital marketing than we ever have been. So your packaging and how you separate yourself from everybody else, how you position your offer, how it's constructed matters now more than ever. And hoping is no longer good enough to make it work, especially if you're selling to other business owners or to other individuals who are highly inundated with other they're highly inundated with like marketing and sales tactics on a regular basis, which majority of us are. So like, you have got to understand that people can smell BS a mile away. So if you're just out here hoping and selling fluff, that's probably why you're struggling, because your client is nowhere, like we're way more sophisticated as consumers now than we have ever been in the past. So after we talked about validating your offer, specializing, creating a signature service, we've talked about packaging, constructing, and positioning. The next one here is how to launch where you are. Basically, have you figured out a way to sell your offer on a consistent basis? And this is one that I think a lot of us struggle with too, because we see a lot more of these super advanced, fancy launches when online. And it's like, yeah, I don't have the team, the money, or the resources to execute that way. I can't launch yet. It's not good enough. It's not perfect enough. I don't have enough yet to go out there and sell my thing. So if you're out here, even when it comes to selling, like, do you have a process in place on how you're going to sell? In regards to like launching and selling your services and your offers? Or are you just like hoping that somebody will just eventually discover you? Real question there. And I like to use something, this is the thing that I started my business on, and really how I built my business on is something I called a lean launch. And really what that is like a very simple, like no bells and whistles, minimum viable product way of launching a service. And if you basically it's a 3-step process doing Facebook Live videos, directing people to an enrollment call, from enrollment call, closing them, and that's it. No website, no super fancy sales page. You can kind of have like a short sales letter if you do go a sales page route, which I recommend, but it's not required. Like bare bones, no long extended email sequences, no fancy copy. Like I use something called a lean launch. So before, I was out here just hoping my stuff would sell. Just like I'm praying that somebody just refers me or just stumbles across my page, versus having a process in place that is attracting and drawing in new people. And I used boosting my videos, Facebook ads, and there's a strategy behind this. Another thing, are you hoping and hustling when it comes to even using Facebook ads? Out here just clicking the boost button and just like, I hope Facebook does what it does and its magic works? Or do you have a strategy and a process in place on how to boost and do Facebook ads effectively? Like, are you hoping that the Facebook ads work, or do you have a strategy and a process behind how you're setting them up and how you're linking everything? And that's really, really important. But I would, maybe spend $100 to $300 a month boosting my videos, again, strategically. But that was the thing that drew in new people to my audience. And even before ads, it was just that three-step process. So again, when it comes to how you launch and how you sell your services, are you just hoping that they will sell, hoping that a client will discover you, or do you have a strategy and process in place? From there, when it comes to actually the moment of selling, how you're actually connecting the dots and converting, do you know how to actually have conversations that convert, that actually guide and serve the client, not just you approaching the sale from a state of desperation? And that's where the hope comes in, where you get on a phone call and you're selling, like lowballing yourself, cutting your prices, trying to give everything up under the sun, just hoping desperately that they'll just say yes? Or do you have a proven process when it comes to how you're structuring your conversations to not only like serve you as the person, like the business owner, but also to guide and serve the client? We're not out here like used car salesmen, just like screaming and hollering, saying, buy my stuff. Like that's you hoping and like really you selling out of desperation, rather than having a proven strategy and a process in place to actually convert that client through a conversation over the phone or like a video conference. So another point there, are you hoping, or do you have a process and strategy in place when it comes to actually converting through conversation? Where you're really focused on serving that client versus you being in like desperation survival mode. And again, like good stuff, Patrice, like lean launch without Facebook ads is where I'm at. And like, even though you're not using Facebook ads, you're doing that through organic reach, which can take longer and usually does take longer. But it still works. Like it may take a little bit longer to get, if you don't have an existing audience, but that's just the way it goes. So I think the whole point of this is really to identify, are you out here a hope hustler? Where again, these key things that we just talked about, it was 6 really core key things we talked about validating your offer, specializing in creating a signature service, packaging and positioning your offer, learning how to launch and sell that offer, and then really how are you effectively converting people through conversations? Are you hoping? Or are you at a point of like really have a process and strategy in place? So Camilla, over the past like 6 months, as you're probably aware of already, I had a course called Fuck Fixed Income, FFI. And it was a process, it was a 3-step launch process that I taught in there. But after like reviewing it and actually like analyzing it based off of client feedback, I've updated that process and I've coined it the lean launch. So, and you probably haven't heard of it before because I just came out with the terminology. I'm not sure if anybody else in our industry has used that terminology before, but that's how I describe my simple 3-step launch process. I call that a lean launch. So yeah, I think that's where everybody should start. Like, that's where I started. And that's like really, again, where I started. But then lean launching is the thing that not only helped me go out and get my initial sales, but it helped me get enough data to actually be able to start incorporating more advanced launch strategies. But I had the data to figure out what type of launch strategy that was more advanced would actually suit my audience, suit my offer, and suit the price point I was at, rather than trying to do it the other way around. Shauna said, I struggle with the process. So I think it's good, again, guys, where everybody here, we walk through a very, like 5 or 6 things that we need to all be identifying. Are we hoping, or do we have a process and strategy in place? And I think the thing that is most important is to understand if you are struggling with the process or any one of these areas, it's important to first identify where is that gap, so you can know when you are searching and looking for coaching or looking for a course or looking for what that next education opportunity is going to be for you, you know what you need. So you're not, again, out here just hoping that somebody who's a specialist out here can solve your problem. You know what your problem is. You have a very clear understanding of where your problem is, so you can actually go find somebody who's effective and not just hope that the next expert that you see rolling on your Facebook timeline is your savior. And one thing for anybody here who was hoping in any one of those 5 areas, I invite you guys to sign up for the Services That Sell workshop. So all you have to do is just click the link in the title of this description, or click the link that we're going to be posting here in the comments in just a moment. It's the bit.ly/services that sell. I'm going to be hosting a 3-day live workshop that really teaches you the full process of basically of everything that we talked about, really the value of selling services, how to specialize in your services, how to scale with your services, and really how to start selling your services effectively. And that's by, so no longer will you be hoping. At the end of this workshop, you guys will have a very clear understanding on how to, make money, how to scale, and really how to position your services in a way that brings you in predictable income. So I call this the predictable profit process. And it's a very simple process that once you put in place and just you keep reworking that process, you're really able to start generating income, building that momentum, and then eventually start scaling off of it. So if you are struggling in any one of these areas that we talked about, again, I highly, highly invite you guys. It's a free workshop. To join us. It doesn't start until April 24th, but the magic is going to be starting in the Facebook group, and we have some really fun engagement activities and opportunities for you guys to start getting support even before the workshop once you sign up and join the Facebook group for it. So I highly recommend that you guys just click the link, sign up. It's completely free. All you have to do is just put in your name and your email address, and then you get all the information, and we'll get the link to join our Facebook group. And starting next week, we're going to have some really fun opportunities for people in the Facebook group even before the workshop starts. So if you're struggling anywhere, definitely go check that out. If you think anybody on your personal Facebook page or friends that you know need to hear this information, that this was of value, please take a moment and just click the share button on this Facebook Live so you can share it with your audience and, invite them to attend the workshop as well. So I hope this was helpful. I hope we didn't hurt anybody's edges too bad in regards to calling anybody out who is a hope hustler. But if you guys need help or need additional support, come join the workshop and definitely start getting engaged in the Facebook group as soon as possible, because it really, this is going to be a transformational experience in itself. So I look forward to seeing you guys over there. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll chat with y'all soon. Bye, everybody.